So you're saying charisma, kind of. You're saying that this person probably should be charismatic and charming, is what I feel like you're saying.
Yeah, because they're leading people, and those people are leading people to make
Mm.
decisions every day. You got to get in the friggin' hot seat. You got to get in the middle of the ring and see what you do with eyes on you. Because I could promise you, it's like training with G-Force, bro. Like I watched Dragon Ball Z when I was a teenager.
Hey, how's it going? It's Tim Brown, and this is the Hook Better Leads podcast. And today I have Ryan Groth on. How you doing, man?
What's up, Tim? What's happening, bro?
Not much. It's the founder and the visionary behind Sales Transformation Group. And you've got a big event coming up. What is the event?
Yeah, huge event coming up in October, the 5th through the 8th. So it's a Wednesday night, and then we leave the 8th midday. It's called the Transform Conference, the number one event for growth-minded contractors, and it's going to be amazing. I'm super excited about it. Cannot wait to have this event. It's going to be our biggest and best ever, and the first of its kind for STG, and I think something the industry is really going to love.
Awesome. So today we're talking about roofing sales leaders, how to find them and build them. And I want to kind of just stop you right here if you're listening or watching and say, if you are not the owner of a company, what you will get out of this is what people should be looking for and how to build yourself a little bit into a roofing sales leader potentially. So just because, like, if you're a roofing salesperson, you might get a lot out of this, just to think about both the qualities that a roofing sales leader has to cultivate in yourself, and then also maybe some of the habits and the systems that you can put in place so that you can be a better salesperson, but maybe moving towards sales leader. I think that ultimately that's the ideal. From your perspective, Ryan, give me a little bit of what do you think about a business owner being that sales coach? Do they have to be good at this? Do they have to be an excellent sales coach first or at all?
Great question. I think that if you want to grow your business, you need sales leadership. We know that. I think that's a given. That's why we're having this conversation. But I think some roofing owners are not the right person to be the sales leader, and I think that a lot of times a few mistakes happen. One is they don't do anything because they don't feel competent at being the sales leader, or they try to be the sales leader and they're just really bad at it, and so salespeople don't perform well under their leadership, and then there's a lack of results, and then they feel like this whole building a sales team is for whatever. Maybe I'll just go sell myself and sell 2 million a year, make great money, and my wife's happy, because I'm not stressed out, but whatever, or my spouse. But the bottom line is, it's not something every business owner can do. Like I'll tell you this, like if you look at the roofing industry, look at the guys and be like, would I want to follow them to the battlefield, right? And that's the kind of question you need to ask yourself for the sales leader. Like, can they go up on stage in front of 5 people, 10 people, 500 people, and blow people away or make them feel connected to what they're doing? Or are they not good at that and they're really a much different kind of talent? And so to me, a lot of times, like having a sales leader is so important to growing your team and taking your business to the next level. You have to have a sales leader. But I don't know about you, but like I'm a baseball or a sports guy, and let's just say, that person's gifted to be a center and in the basketball court,
Yeah.
and so they're gifted to do that. But then the sales leader is the point guard, and they got to lead everybody down. They're just not capable. They're just not
Yeah.
capable of being that leader on the court that maybe the
Yeah.
point guard should be. And
You're kind of
so
hitting me in
it's
the heart a little bit right now because both I probably shouldn't be our sales leader, and I'm probably more of a center than a point guard. So you're hitting me twice.
yeah, I
Yeah.
find that you know but the thing is, this is really tricky, and maybe this goes into our next question. But you know, if you know that's not who you are, you don't want to be an owner that's like, hey, I'm incapable, I'm vulnerable, like I can't do this. I think the owner should care and value that. They should look at themselves and say, I know I need that valuable talent. I just need someone who's more gifted at that than me, right? Or more talented or more skilled at me than that.
Yeah.
And so that vision is compelling, right? I think a lot of guys are like, I can't do this, and they're like, I don't want to even think about it. It's like learning Chinese, and then they completely disconnect from it, and then there's no like connection to that role and that person. And then if they don't have the right person, and there's not a lot of trust or clarity, they find that they didn't get the results they're looking for. But I don't think every business owner is that guy or that girl. I think some though are just crazy talented at that stuff. And they're like, dude, they need to stay in that role. Taking them out is just foolish, right?
Well, it's also like at a certain point, once you're scaling a business, there's so many, we're bombarded with so many messages as entrepreneurs. Like, you got to work on the business, not in the business. And you got to learn marketing and be really good at that and be a social media guy. You got to get off of marketing, get on sales and teach your sales to your people. And like, you got to delegate. And, like there's basically just so many things going on. And then I'm also like, if I'm a CEO, at what point do I just say, I want to be a CEO? Like, I need to go do, like, there's literally like big business decisions. Like, I want to go make big business decisions. And sometimes sales feels, dare I say it, beneath me. That sounds rude almost a little bit, but I'm saying it because I
Dude,
feel
if
it sometimes.
you and I like are probably both in a very similar situation, but
Yeah.
I as CEO of Sales Transformation Group, I actually have taken my foot off of the sales leadership role, and it's been it's been the worst thing for us. It's like because
Yeah.
that's like what I'm really good at, dude. I love
Yeah.
inspiring people, leading
Yeah.
people, motivating people, holding them accountable, coaching them, driving results, recruiting people, attracting people into my organization. And then, because I love it so much, I built a company that does it. Like, that's what I literally do.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, oh, CEO Ryan, I take my hat off, my foot off the sales leadership pedal. That the thing that the company does, that's how much I love it, and I put
Yeah.
my foot on, and then I ask other people to do it, and it's like in my company, I'm like a really valuable person in the right
Yeah.
seat, but then I'm in a different seat, I'm not as valuable
Yeah.
trying to get somebody to do it.
Sure.
It's crazy. Like CEOs, if you're a sales talented CEO, bro, never stop selling, never stop
Yeah.
leading sales. You have to stay in it. That is you. Like, imagine the Angels saying, Shohei Ohtani, stop pitching and hitting homers. Like, we don't want you to do it anymore. Like,
Yeah.
you gotta stop. Like, we want you to play shortstop and then we'll DH for you. Like, you just stop. Like,
Yeah.
this isn't working. Like, no, dude, that's like the best thing on TV right now is that guy
Yeah.
playing
So
baseball.
today's episode is brought to you by Sales Transformation Group, the #1 sales and transformation platform in the construction industry. If you're looking for new ways to professionalize your sales force and generate more profits for your business, find out more at salestransformationgroup.com/hookagency. So I want to ask, like, we're talking about finding sales leaders, basically how to find them and build them.
Yeah.
They're popping clients in the office right now. They're popping champagne. It's kind of exciting. They just launched their website, so that's fun. That's my favorite of when we get to do those in person. That's why the
Love
screaming
it.
it was like shrieking in the background. But where do you find these people? Is there like in other industries adjacent that you can find them? Do we need to get them from other roofing companies? Do they need previous sales leader experience if you're looking for a sales leader to join your company?
Yeah, I would say the first place you look isn't an industry per se. I would look for certain traits. So, what you want in a sales leader is you want a magnanimous, like amazing energy that comes off that person. You could tell they have depth about them and they've overcome a lot. My favorite sales leaders are ones that they want a documentary made of them because of how crazy their life's been and how much they've
Mm,
overcome and like where they are today. That is the kind of sales leader you want. Like you want to find
yeah.
somebody who's, man, my dad was this, my mom was this, I did that, I overcame this, that was this, I
Mm,
turned into that, I read this, I surrounded myself with that mentor, that this, and like then sales becomes the next best career for them
mm,
because they get to function fully as who they've always been in a new career. And like
yeah.
that's exactly what I found for me and what I found for others is like you want that sales leader to be someone who can just has an incredible story and it's compelling and they love who they become and transform into to be who they are, and then
Mm,
they'll get to do that so much in sales because in sales there's a lot of human mastery and a lot of skills and a lot of discipline and a lot of opportunity to continue to never be satisfied
yeah.
because there's always more. There's not a limit. It's not like, oh, let me see, like there's not a limit. You can always bust through the record. You can compete. You can create an environment around
Maybe in your
how
company,
you're.
in my company, once they start to make more than me, they're out. No, no. I do want to talk to you a little bit about the competition between owners and sales leaders or like top salespeople that sometimes happens in the roofing industry, especially in smaller business. I mean, you probably see it occasionally. There's a little bit of vibration that happens between because this salesperson is or sales leader is making a bunch of money and then the owner feels a little competition. Do you ever see that?
Yeah, I mean, I think if that's the case, the owner has an opportunity to confront those feelings and figure out where it's coming from. I think that's an opportunity for growth, and
Yeah.
if it's something that they're growing and then it turns into a compensation agreement restructuring, then fine, But
Mm,
I mean, sales leaders and sales people, if they're really good, they're really valuable, and
yeah.
they should be getting paid well.
Yeah.
I think as long as the company's doing well and you can really lean into that. Plus, those sales leaders, man, they become examples of what other people want to be like
Mm,
in those companies. So it's so valuable because then it can turn into little sales leader championship offspring,
yeah.
like it's like, and that's valuable because they'll grow up like, so I think it's really important not to undervalue a high performing salesperson. Like, dude,
Yeah.
in a sales leader, that is valuable because
Yeah.
what are you going to go as owner who's not charismatic, who doesn't have a great ability to lead people? You're going to go create more leaders?
Yeah.
No, you don't have that ability necessarily. Not some do. Some
Yeah.
are like crazy good at it, like
Yeah.
crazy good at it.
So you're saying
Just
charisma, kind of. You're saying that this person probably should be charismatic and charming, is what I feel like you're saying.
yeah, because they're leading people, and those people are leading people to make
Mm,
decisions every day. Like literally, it's like I'm a sales leader, CEO, founder, influencing people who are sales leaders and owners who are influencing salespeople to take massive action, who are then influencing the buyers to make decisions every day. That's a lot. Like that's a lot of like talent needed to move the needle. You know what I'm saying?
would you say that charisma is something that you can build or in yourself or you could help your team grow more of? I mean, the implied other question is here, like that's coming next is what if you find yourself with a sales leader that's not the one?
Yeah, I
Two
mean,
questions. Yeah.
uh, yeah. So I think charisma could be built in your organization, but it has to come from somewhere. So whether you're bringing in, you know, you're bringing in me one week, Sam Taggart another week, Martin Pettigrew another week, Adam Bensman another week, and we're just rotating charismatic leaders into your company.
Yeah.
That could rub off on people, right? It could, or it could not, and you could not get it, right? So you got to find it somewhere. So I think that that's that. And if they don't have it, like if you go to 2 or 3 roofing sales conferences and they don't walk out ready to reproduce that energy, then you probably have the wrong guy. But it's worth
Okay.
investing in those rather than firing them and try to find somebody else. I mean,
Yeah.
that's why these conferences and these leaders like me and some other names I just dropped are so valuable in our industry because we're unbiased. Like we're unbiased to your company and we care about the industry becoming better. And
Yeah.
so when we bring that energy into you guys, and then it's reciprocated, it's like that stuff is exciting, um, and not everybody's going to connect with every one of guys like me, but the ones who do, there's a deep connection, there's a mentorship, there's an exchange, and that exchange can be now passed down into people in their company, right? And I think
So
that's very very powerful. Yeah.
So I know that it's not just about charisma, it's also about processes and habits. So what have you seen as far as if you're building this, finding this person, you're building this person, maybe you're building on something that's already there. What are the weekly habits or processes that you've seen actually work in helping build this leader and their people?
Coaching. You got to have a coaching process. So like the process of first off, coaching's like the most undervalued and under exercised skills in this industry. Like people don't hire coaches, do their own coaching, receive their own coaching. It's just really bad. Like it takes because you can't fully automate coaching. Like you can do some, but you can't fully automate. Like you need a skilled coach that teaches somebody who's unskilled how to be better. Like that just takes time. That takes energy. So like you can learn a few ways. Like what I love about having a coaching environment is that if you and I are coaching and 3 of your salespeople are there and I'm coaching you in real time, they're all going to learn from what I just did with you, right?
Yeah.
And so there is a compound effect around group coaching. But a few things that come to mind is like, if I was playing baseball and like I'm hitting left-handed and all of a sudden my hands are like this, right? If a good coach was there, what would be the first thing he does?
I don't know anything about baseball.
He'd say timeout. All right.
Right.
All right. If I'm shooting a free throw, right?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I go like this,
Yeah.
what would you do?
I would coach you to put your right hand underneath the ball and your left hand to guide it.
Yeah, you're like, hey, timeout. Hold on. Before you even try to shoot the ball, you got to be in a good position, right?
Yeah.
Right. So your best position needs to look like this, right? So it's like here, you reach your hand to the cookie jar, right? You teach
Yeah.
like so. The same thing with sales is like before you even step into the appointment, there's mindset. Before mindset set in, there's identity. So you go from
Yeah.
identity to mindset to sales process. All of that correlates, takes all the way into the end. And if you can start to coach those things on a foundational level over time, it'll build you into a complete rock star. And that can happen through coaching.
I,
So
I want to hear more about that identity thing because that sounds very interesting to me. Now, but what's like a weekly rhythm? Like, would you say that's like 2 hours every week? Like, what is a real, how much
you,
time every week?
I would say you can't ever do too much coaching because
Okay.
it's like it's only going to make you. But like we need to do more coaching internally at our company. But I'm
Yeah.
doing 1 hour 1 hour of coaching a week
Okay.
per department of my sales team. So I have two
Okay.
different really good companies. Like they should. I think really good companies are doing a sales meeting, a sales training, and then a coaching session weekly. If you're really committed and you really want to be the best, you just coach every day. You
Yeah.
do a coaching session every day.
What does that look
So,
like? When you talk about coaching, are you talking like, are we talking about role play?
so
What are the
let's talk about
activities?
different
Yeah.
types of coaching. It's like, all right, so there's a few different types of coaching. One is um, role play, right?
Hmm.
So role play. The other one is coaching. You know, you can do role plays in scenarios. The other one is looking at game film,
Yeah.
right? So game film will be like, all right, let's do it. I'm gonna put Tim, his Zoom meeting last week. Let's put it on Zoom. Let's put this bad boy up. All
Yeah.
right. And so you press play, and then you press pause. And then really good coaches say, all right, guys, hey, hold on. What did Tim just do right there? Hold up. Anybody have any feedback for Tim? So then I'm coaching my team on how to coach each other. The really good coaches know how to create an atmosphere where there's pure group accountability, not like one-way direction. That's my
I
style.
love
Like,
that. How would
yeah.
that apply to like an in-home sales process? Is there recording sometimes on that or like?
Yeah, so we actually, yeah, this is something that we do is we record the actual in-home sales meeting,
Okay.
and then you can either measure it up against a scorecard
Yeah.
that's pre-built based on, or you can use some softwares out there. There's some other partners that we're chatting with that do some
That's
analytics around
smart
how
though.
much percent.
Dang. Are you talking about
Yeah,
Rilla? Is Rilla one of them?
yeah, they're one of those guys.
Dude,
Yep.
Rilla's cool. That's some forward thinking stuff, dude. The
The
like
thing is, though,
AI
is like,
sales
look,
analytics.
I can sit there and tell you our sales process all day long.
Yeah.
But what if it would be kind of like playing basketball and just saying, hey, for homework tonight, I just want you to look at the X's and O's and I just want you to read it tonight. And then,
Yeah.
hey, and then we'll
Yeah.
just see how you play tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, dude, no way.
Yeah.
There's just no chance that you're going to be successful. And
But
we're
you would get
taking,
a certain sense of like enjoyment. Like, for instance, listening to this podcast, you may get a certain sense of enjoyment out of feeling like you know the stuff. At least you know some high performing sales coaching process, even if you don't take action. You know what I mean? But that's why you got to come to Transform Conference.
you got to get in the friggin' hot seat.
Yeah.
You got to get in the middle of the ring and see what you do with eyes on you. Because I could promise you, it's like training with G-Force, bro. Like I watched Dragon Ball Z when I was a teenager, and Goku was training in some G-Force one episode, and then he
Yeah.
busted out, and he was a gangster. He killed everybody.
Yeah.
That's what it's like. You gotta train where there's like unnatural pressure.
Yeah. I like that.
That unnatural pressure builds something in you that when you're out there in the field, you're like, wow, this is almost too easy. That's
Yeah.
the power of training and coaching. If you look at athletes today, you can tell I like sports. I talk about it. They do hard things in a simulated way so that when they're in the game, it's kind of like effortless and like doing it. It's happening effortlessly or naturally. And that is exactly what training and coaching does. Because look, you want to sell upsells, you
Yeah.
want to sell add-ons, you want to sell commercial jobs, you want to sell large reroutes, you want to sell premium products.
Yeah.
And you want to do it in the game when you haven't even practiced anything hard. But when you do find the pressure and it creates gaps and you see that leaking happening, that's gold, bro, because that's when somebody who really knows how to coach can insert the belief system, the confidence, and the process in that moment that can create permanent change. And dude, when you have permanent change in a brain and a behavior of a salesperson that levels them up 20%, 100%, that is millions of dollars in revenue and millions or hundreds of thousands hitting your bottom line just from coaching one sales guy, one thing. It's powerful stuff.
Talk to me a little bit about the belief and identity. First of all, I want to just note that we need more Dragon Ball Z references on this podcast in general.
Absolutely.
So belief and identity. It sounds like that seems foundational to everything that you're doing. So you're layering on these things, but ultimately, like belief and identity seem. How does that play into what you see the most successful sales teams doing? How are they using belief and identity to form to help their salespeople win more?
Yeah, this is a deep one, very near and dear to my heart. But I mean, I believe that belief precedes behavior. So, what you believe about yourself or what someone believes about themselves is going to be the driver of how they behave. And so one thing that I'm big on is identity. And identity is this concept of who you are and how that's different from what you do. So I believe that when we're functioning fully in our identities, we are a gift to the world, right? There's no fear in us, there's no shame, there's no emotion of fear, shame, guilt, resentment, vengeance. Those are negative emotions. And if you were to take a scale of 0 to 10, and to me, identity as a scale, that 1 to 2, that anger, frustrated, fearful person is functioning at such a low level of energy. But when you take them up to loved, validated, accepted, approved, right? They live from this place that their value system is just hitting this just through the roof. Their value and their identity is now something they bring into their role versus something that they're trying to grab from their role. So when someone's identity is low and then their role, specific role in business, their sales is high, well, the thing is now they're finding their identity from that role, so there's not an ability for it to sustain over time. It's going to default down to where they already, like for example, a sales guy has a big sales month, doesn't really believe he's worth it, spends a lot of money, spends it all, has bad habits, there's just like poor energy. But if you take your identity and bring that identity into your role, not find it from it, bring it into your role, now you're a gift to the world. And then when you fail, that's actually like, it's like not even like failure isn't even real. It's almost it's almost like the most beautiful feedback formula for them to be successful, because their identity and their value has already been secured and already sure. And so they're taking their role and saying, hey, that's good feedback. Like, tell me how I can get better. They don't take it personally. They don't have their head down. They don't hold it down. They didn't get rejected. They didn't lose. They're always full on the inside, and they're bringing that. So I believe that if someone's going to be a high performer in sales, they must know their identity. And if they're finding their identity from their role, then they're going to be scratching and clawing and living in a place of panic, fear, and anxiety constantly to try to fill that cup. And then that's when you have unhealthy expressions of sales. Guys that do really well, and then they crash and they overdose, or they check out, or they don't have a sustainable anything, or they keep chasing things that are not healthy, right? Like I don't know. I'm not going to try to bring too much of a moral compass here, but my point being is,
Ryan, you're all good with the moral. Just like you're allowed to swear on this podcast, you're also allowed to bring your moral compass onto the podcast. So go for it.
you guys know some salespeople, they make money for the first time and they blow it on drugs, or they blow it on strip clubs, or they had a good girlfriend, they were going to get married, and then they screwed it all up, and now they're back to like depressed, and then the only thing that makes them feel good is having a big month in sales. Like, dude, do you really want to is that going to transform people? No. No, dude. Like, sales won't just change their life. It won't be the only thing that changes their life. And I could say that this industry is changing in such a way that it's becoming more competitive, in that the message to salespeople in the market should be, dude, come here and change your life. Not just come here and just more sales doesn't change their life. So it's so like, how do you cultivate an environment where you as an owner or sales leader are literally speaking value into the hearts of your salespeople, and as that is built up and they're being coached and getting better, they're becoming solid humans, man. Like, I want to see sales leaders and salespeople like make great money, do wise things with their money, buy homes, get married, have kids, like be successful in the wholesome way. I want to see them like give back to their communities, being good members of society. All that can be done in this industry. All that can be done through sales, and all that can be done. But I believe you also have the flip side, right? Like if someone has a low identity piece and their beliefs are poor, but then they're asked to behave a certain way, like A, it's not sustainable, but B, like, let me just ask you this. Okay, I got two people. I got salesperson A and salesperson B. All right, so you're a prospect, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so salesperson A, their value and their identity is so full, they're completely detached from the outcome of the sales meeting with you. They're emotionally detached to the sale they're making with you, okay?
Are you sick of what passes for leads these days?
What's wrong with share leads? Or Facebook ad leads? Yeah!
Not much, unless you want to be the lowest bidder on every job. I wear a lot of hats, but search engine marketing and website, I've passed off to a Google specialized team.
Not to say like they're still a professional salesperson, but they're detached. Now you have salesperson B. Salesperson B is so attached to whether they get the sale with you or not, right? So let me ask you this: what kind of feelings could you like? What kind of emotions? You might feel, or how might you perceive that salesperson who's attached to the sale with you? What do you think?
I would potentially, like, I get a little bit of like a, potentially they have unethical vibes, or like they could be willing to sacrifice my best interest for their immediate gain. Like, and I would be a little bit worried about it. I'd probably I'd look at the company a little bit to make sure that company stands behind the work or whatever. But yeah, I'd be a little bit worried just that it's potentially not the best
They
interest
can come
for
off
me.
as like desperate a little
Yeah,
bit. They can come off as a little like needy and a little
yeah,
annoying to me. I
yeah,
mean, you
exactly.
know, it's so like some markets, some level of clients, a company and projects, maybe that gets by. But if you want to become a high performer, that doesn't always work. I like to say, I call that commission breath. Right? You can just
Yeah.
smell it on
Oh
them.
yeah.
It's like this.
Yeah.
And then you got the detached person, and they come to you. How do you feel if that you perceive they're completely detached, whether you're gonna buy from them or not? How would you feel?
Yeah, I tend to feel that it's usually like they're probably not going to give me the best possible thing. Like sometimes I want the best possible thing, and they're just like, "Here's this." I give a pest control example because we had a mice in our house, and they two people came out and sold me like a $250 something or other for it, and like the last guy was like, "It's 1,500. I'm just gonna take care of it all." And like the first two guys thought I wanted just like it, like cheap. I didn't want cheap. I wanted it taken care of. And so I feel like I get the vibe when somebody doesn't care at all that like they actually don't, they're not very interested in giving me the best possible thing. So detached feels like they're not. Sometimes I feel a little bit of passion makes me feel like they actually want to give me the best possible thing.
Yeah, I think that what will surprise you is that those who have their value already in their identity there, they make somebody feel truly helped and understood, and they don't feel sold, right? So they're like,
Hmm.
hey Tim, like, look, I just want to do what's right. Sorry.
It's all good.
Okay, I'll come eat it. I'm almost done. I don't have like a recording sign yet on
Yeah,
my
it's
wall.
all good. That's funny.
Yeah, so like, so basically, what I'm saying is, you're not going to feel that they're annoyingly like needy and desperate. Instead, they're like, hey, like, what do you need, bro? Like, how can I help? Like, what's your
Hmm.
problem? What are you looking to do? They're not going to like shave product down and like discount price because they want to do what's right.
Hmm.
They're going to care, and you're going to feel helped, cared
Hmm.
for, understood, and listened to. And
So
at the end of the
Ryan,
day,
I have a
yeah.
kind of like a follow up question. Like you're basically saying these people when they feel validated and they feel like they've got love and like there's a couple other words you used. I thought they were really good. I wish I remembered every single one of them, but loved, validated, approved, all these types of things. How do you do you have to find somebody that's already got that, or can you help
Yeah,
your
great question.
salespeople feel that a little bit? Like, is there a way to help your people feel that? And the other question, like an additional piece to that, is what if you make them feel all like in the company all this validation, and then what if what if they don't work out? You know, because it's scary
Yeah.
because it feels like a
Look,
family
like,
almost.
yeah, I mean, like, well, first off, that's why you should take people to conferences like ours because we talk about that stuff and we
Yeah.
bring that to people. So that's one. Two, um, you're going to attract who you are, right? So if you're like if you're cultivating that inner transformation, you're going to attract people who see you as somebody that they can surround themselves with, and the greater you've done of a job there, the more easy it is to bring high level, loved, affirmed, validated, approved type of people because they don't feel like they feel a bit like they belong versus like I don't know about that guy. Like I don't want to, I'm not here to just make money because most people aren't really working at your place just to make money anymore, especially people with a lot of depth and on the inside. They want to come somewhere where there's like a little bit of all that. So the more you as an owner or leader are doing the inner transformational work, the more attractive you're going to be for people who do that type of thing as well.
Yeah.
But if you do none of those things, you snort coke, you go to strip clubs, you cheat on your wife, you're in debt to your eyeballs, you say one thing and do another thing, you're going to just attract sales guys like that, and you're going to hate each other because you're going to hate their behavior.
Yeah.
So that's exactly like, I mean, who you are is what you're going to attract. So I think that, it's a combination of like, what if I love somebody in my company and they didn't work out? Well, good. You know what? I go to sleep better knowing I love somebody they didn't work out than to not treat somebody with value and then they perform well, but did I abuse them or neglect them or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So I think that this is a lot to do with like your leadership style. I know though that I've had problems personally where I love somebody, they feel loved and validated, but yet it didn't work out. And that's okay. At least we can hug each other knowing that we gave it our best and we tried to connect, right? And I think that that's par for the course. But I'd rather go to sleep at night knowing that someone feels valued. I lose sleep when someone feels like I don't value them. I actually lose sleep when people think that I'm abusive or neglectful or critical and controlling and manipulative. That's what makes me lose sleep because I want to influence positive results. But you can't just it's tough. It's it can be challenging.
What revenue? So we're talking about roofing sales leaders. What revenue makes the most sense to have a sales lead?
I mean, depends, right? Are you the sales leader? Because you heard it resonated.
A lot of times
with you
people
earlier.
float it. A lot of times people float it those first couple of years. Maybe they get to a couple million. You know what I mean? Like if I think about roofers, like a lot of times they can get through. And there's a lot of like customer service guys that are just like bending over for client. You know, I mean, they get there somehow. They're scratching and some of them aren't.
These are all a million questions, right? It's like, was it a big storm? Is it on purpose? Was it retail? Was it like, how did you get to that, like your current revenue? Are you a really charismatic, like talented, strong sales leader already? You happen to own a company, or do you need to bring that person in? I mean, look, it just I'd say, those have to be taken into consideration.
Sure.
But certainly, like if I was like, sorry, we could probably, I'm getting the end of the day. Where are you, Dad?
Yeah.
Vibes
Good.
right now. But yeah, so I would just ask those questions. But like right now, if I start a roofing company, it wouldn't take me very long to start hiring salespeople because I'm a sales leader. Right?
Yeah.
If I was not a sales leader, I might need, like I got a friend who came from pest control. He's in roofing. He's speaking at our conference. I mean, that guy's a G. Like he's built pest control sales teams for years. He's already got a sales force. He doesn't sell. He's already built his own training program. He knows what he's doing. Like that's the kind of guy he is. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So that sales leader is an absolutely critical person in your company. And be that person and who you are, or find that person fast. Go ahead.
All right, I like that. What revenue mark makes the most sense for them to hire a company like Sales Transformation Group to help with the sales transformation, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how much value you see in us, right? So, like,
Yeah.
I've got companies that are doing 1 million. They're usually not ideal.
Yeah.
My sweet spot, they're doing 5 million. We got companies that are, in a quarter of a billion that work with
Yeah.
us. So it really depends on. But I'd say as a roofing company, if you're 5 million, you're probably in a great spot.
Hey, it's all good. We're gonna work this. He's got his life, okay? It's not just about business. Ryan's out here being a good dad, and he's got to go eat cookies. So, for the folks at home that are watching this before the Transform conference, can you give a little pitch to it, and where do they go to grab tickets?
Yeah, go to thetransformconference.com. It's going to be an awesome time of inspiration. We're going to have a few guest speakers that are outside of the industry that are going to just crush it. Inky Johnson, a guy by the name of Jamie Winship. He's done identity work. He's going to do identity work on the whole group.
Nice.
He worked with all the Seattle Seahawks, all their coaches, their wives, their kids, everybody, all the players. They did some incredible work. Pete Carroll, he's a super experimental type coach. He brought him in. Awesome stuff. We're going to have industry leaders in commercial, residential, door-to-door, retail. They're going to bring some amazing insights as CEOs, sales leaders, and salespeople. We also have service industry, like the service department. That's a big focus for us at STG. Is we want to help people create great service departments because that's the key to like long-term sustainable revenue.
Yes.
And long-term value in the
Yes,
market.
sir.
So we actually have training on that. We're gonna have a role play tournament at the end for a chance to win like a real sword. Like commercial, residential, and door to door, or retail and door to door are all gonna have different tournaments. You're just gonna get to network with our partners and our vendor partners. It's gonna be not a small event, but not a big one. It's gonna be a nice size blend of like intimate interaction, round tables. Plenty of time for dinners. If you haven't been to one of my events, you need to come. You'll walk out, either have cried or seen other people cry, touched deep in your heart, inspired to change personally and professionally. You're going to feel ready to take on the next season of growth in your life, in your business, in your family, in your personal life. You're going to be able to, carry that energy into how you're shaping your sales organization, and that's going to make a huge difference in your business. It's going to make a big impact. We're also going to, that's really it, guys. I mean, come transform yourself, the team you lead, the clients you serve, and ultimately this industry, because I want to see this industry be the beacon of hope in our communities to say contractors, they're the ones that do it right. They're restoring homes and buildings and properties. And they don't stop there. They're helping people. They're helping people change, people growing. That's what I see this industry doing. It has a chance to kind of be lifted from the ashes of the eyes of people. Our nation looks at contractors and they're like, dude, that's changing. Like people are starting to look at contractors with respect and dignity and honor. That's what I'm going for, dude. I want to see this industry look and say, I don't want to go be a doctor. I want to go be a contractor. Those guys crush it. They make great money. There's great standards in the industry. There's technology through the roof. There's great opportunity to bring sustainable change in our community. That's what I'm going for at this conference, is to level up how we see our industry and to make an impact. And that's what we're doing.
I love that. That's why there's alignment here. Definitely our long-term kind of vision that we want to be part of too for the industry. So I really appreciate that, Ryan. And thank you for being on the podcast. Thank you everyone for watching this episode. Yeah, there's some pretty good stuff in there. I really like the stuff around the identity. That's super good. I'm looking forward. I wish I was at this conference. I'm about to be having a baby, my first baby right around that time. Our sales person is going, so I'm excited to see what she learns. And thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. It's the podcast is put on by hookagency.com and Hook Agency all over social. And thank you for checking it out. All right, bye.